All right, good evening and welcome to the May 2024 session for the Cheltenham School District Facilities Committee. First, start with a roll call, starting with Ms. Loman.
Jennifer Lemon here.
Robin Murphy here.
Ross Whiting here.
Leah Mulhern present.
Charles Riddell Williams present.
Nina Blitzstein present.
Daniel Schultz, president.
Pam Henry present.
Online,
Zachary Epps, virtually and mentally present.
thank you for the confirmation, Mr. Epps. And may I have a motion for the approval of the minutes?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, without further ado, Mr. Holmes.
Good evening, and welcome to the Mayor Facilities Committee meeting. Let's get right into it, if you would. Next slide, please. All right. So at the high school, getting to repair some drains. And next slide, please. So the charity storm drains located behind the high school pose a significant hazard for both teachers and students. One particular drain is situated in the middle of the parking lot, best still on the right-hand side. As you see, if you go back to the previous screen, you'll see how deep it was. That's significant, a significant fall with the collapse. So next slide, please, Josh. So, is that evident in the photographs highlighted the severity of the situation? It was imperative that these hazardous conditions were promptly addressed to prevent any potential accidents or injuries. The risk of collapse in such a high traffic area was too great to ignore. Not only were teachers and students at risk, but vehicles passing over the weakened drains were also in danger. The repair and maintenance of these storm drains were necessary to uphold the safety standards of the school environment. A proactive approach to addressing such infrastructure issues was vital to ensuring the well-being of all those within the school community. By taking timely action to rectify the collapse in storm drains, the school administration can prevent any potential disasters and alleviate the looming threat posed by these deteriorating structures. And I would like to thank John White for that to our attention. So kudos to him. All right, next slide, please. That is the scope of work that revision has given us. It's hard to read, I know that, but I'll just give you a quick. Revision has supplied us with a scope of work that has provided a comprehensive plan for implementing changes to improve our commitment to sustainability. It has smartly included timelines that consider the involvement of various stakeholders and make efficient use of resources. For example, starting a recycling plan during the summer when the building is empty would not be effective. The district has wisely set immediate short-term and long-term goals for implementation, with the final deadline set for 2050. This timeline allows for gradual progress over the next few decades, ensuring that initiatives are both realistic and also achievable. Nothing like setting up something full steam ahead and it just falls by the wayside. By setting specific and achievable goals within a reasonable time frame, the district can make significant strides toward creating a more sustainable environment for students and staff. This approach not only demonstrates a commitment to environmental stewardship, but also sets a positive example for the community at large. With a well thought out plan in place, the district is poised to make meaningful and lasting changes that will benefit both current and future generations.
Could we possibly have this formatted over a couple of pages and just include it in a board update?
Sure, absolutely. Next slide, please. Nope. Yep. Okay, what you see here is a picture of the high school roof. What we all know is that this roof will have outlived its remaining useful life in 3 years. As we consider the proposal from Tremco Roofing Systems for a new roof at the high school, it is important to assess which areas are suitable for restoration and which are not. I think you might have heard me mention, we have some, looking at the areas that can be restored and areas that need to be replaced. So the red shows what, not a candidate for roof restoration, likely indicating they're in need of full replacement. However, the other areas, which are quite large, are identified as candidates for restoration. This presents an opportunity to extend the lifespan of the roof while potentially reducing costs. I think the cost for the total roof is $3 million of replacement, and the restoration cost is 2/3 to 1/2, 2/3. So of that. So that's, we'll let them figure that out. But it is worth noting that the warranty for both restoration and replacement mirror each other, suggesting that whichever option is chosen, there is a guarantee of quality and longevity. This means that we can have confidence in the durability and performance of the new roof, regardless of whether it is restored or replaced. Overall, this proposal from Tremco Roofing Systems offers a comprehensive solution for addressing the roof issues at the high school. By focusing on areas that are suitable for restoration, we can potentially save time and money while still ensuring reliable and long-lasting roof for the future. Next slide, please. So if you look over in the corner of the room, you see the, those cans, receptacles. And streamlining the recycling and waste receptacles district-wide is a crucial step toward achieving a more sustainable and environmentally kind community. By standardizing the receptacles used across the schools, we're providing our scholars with a consistent and easily recognizable system for disposal of their waste. Having one type of receptacle district-wide not only simplifies the process for our students, but also promotes a sense of unity and shared responsibility toward recycling and waste management. This standardization eliminates confusion and ensures that all individuals are aware of where their waste should go, ultimately leading to a more efficient and effective recycling program. I mean, that's when you have multiple receptacles and but you have students that all end up in the same place, it just makes sense to have standard receptacles all around. So furthermore, by streamlining receptacles, we are reinforcing the importance of proper waste disposal and encouraging our scholars to develop good habits that they can carry forward into their lives beyond school. It also makes it easier for the custodial staff to collect the waste, leading to cost savings and reduce environmental impact. In conclusion, the decision to streamline the recycling and waste receptacles district-wide is a positive and forward-thinking initiative that will benefit our schools and community as a whole. It is a small change that can have a big impact in creating a more sustainable future. Next slide, please. During a recent meeting with Ms. Derry, the superintendent, Principal Lotto, and myself at Myers Elementary School, we had the opportunity to listen to Ms. Derry's concerns regarding the lack of equity in the schoolyard, and that schoolyard compared to other elementary schools in the district. Ms. Derry expressed her dissatisfaction with the current state of the schoolyard and highlighted the need for improvements to creating more engaging and safe environment for students. In response to Ms. Derry's concerns, we have taken immediate action to address the issues at hand. They have started by addressing the low-hanging fruit with a first coat of paint to spruce up the schoolyard. Additionally, they have ordered 200 cubic yards of mulch for the playground, which is scheduled to be delivered on May 15th. This will not only enhance the aesthetic appeal of the schoolyard, but also provide a safer place for safer play area for the students. Moving forward, we're committing to working closely with the Myers community to continue improving the schoolyard and ensuring that all students have access to a high-quality, equitable learning environment. We are grateful for the partnership and support of the Myers community and look forward to making further enhancements to the schoolyard in the future. Next slide, please. All right, ending on a good note. This month, we had the opportunity to meet with the Earth Club at Glenside Elementary. those were the letters that they gave me at the last board meeting. And, so just took the time to go over it and thank them for doing the right thing, even when no one is looking. The next picture next to that is a watering bag for a sapling that was donated to the school. I'm not gonna lie, these letters and photos won us over and make it all worth it. So this concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Any more questions? Thank you, Ms. Collinsworth. So,
Quick question, and please forgive me if it's in this revision slide. I didn't read it all. When we're talking about the high school roof, is there, when I did the solar project in my house, the roof was part of that conversation. Getting a new roof was part of getting solar panels. And I was wondering if, while we're working on the roof, if this would be the right time to think about whether solar panels actually make an ROI sense for the high school.
Let me get back to you with that question, the answer for that question, because it's a question that has me having conjunction with the results. So, we'll come up with an answer for that.
And if the answer is no, totally understood, it just seemed like a ton, rather than in, say, 10 years saying, oh, let's look at solar, and then realize, oh boy, do we need to work on the roof. Thank you. And I did have another question. Oh, sure.
So I did meet with several consultants regarding solar paneling and the feasibility of it at Shelton School District. And the age of the roof was one of the concerns about putting brand new equipment on an old roof. And with the current grants that are available, there is a payback period, a 10-year payback period to qualify for the grant. There's also a certain square footage and an acreage requirement for the number of panels. It's something the district could explore more once our feasibility study is in place, because obviously a plan like that requires capital investment. In addition to our capital investment in our schools, and once we have it sorted out what we want to invest in, then we make the decision on to be part of that investment.
Okay, thank you. Makes a lot of sense. This is a any curiosity question, but do we work with the township for our trash and recycling services, or is it our contract?
Waste management.
Okay.
Waste management is green dumpsters that CED got into the admin. That's what
Okay,
that's
thank
what they do.
And then my last question is around the Myers, just as the Myers conversation is a case study, and I'm curious, what is the ideal process for that kind of thing? Because we're talking big picture stuff here, we're around feasibility studies for what to do with buildings at large, but I imagine ideally we wouldn't be having the PTO coming to the board meeting to ask questions about Myers. So I guess the question is, what should families be doing? What is the proper approach for bringing up concerns around much smaller concerns than what we're talking about here?
Phil Durham with you.
Please no.
Point of contact. No, I think Ms. Derry, just as an example, did follow protocol. It was a matter of initially her not seeing any type of immediate action. And when that happens, parents get frustrated. So they come to the board, right? And that's where it's voiced. So we don't handle it early. And we know it's going to come at some point to a board meeting where it's made public. And then, of course, you guys know my style, right? I'm going to address it immediately. And then have the circle in terms of the follow-up of where we are. I think there's some opportunities potentially that make Myers interesting. You use the word case study, right? Because being landlocked, it's really hard to use the term equitable, right? When you look at Myers versus the other elementary schools, just based on green space. And so we're going to attempt to enhance it to the best of our ability, but being fully transparent, we're limited in what we can really do. So, we will keep working in partnership, and putting the appropriate resources. I'm more concerned about safety, than anything else. It scares me when I'm out there and they're going 100 miles an hour out there on that, center block, you know, so I think that.
Kids,
Not the
not drivers, yeah.
So I think those are things that we could look at, like this here, is it possible having a larger space on that other side that's of a different material? So that's not high on my priority list right now. We wanna, like Ms. Alma said, hit the low hanging fruit, but that's something definitely that could be considered down.
Thank you.
Okay, just one comment about that, about sticking with Myers for 1 minute. I know that there is definitely limited green space and there's just limited space, period. But we could, I don't know if we have any teachers, any staff who would be interested in working with kids on a raised garden bed or, you know, there are things that we can do to get the kids involved, you know, I want to do that as much as possible. And to enhance the space in a sustainable way. So just throwing that out there for future planning. And it also shouldn't be that expensive.
No, I mean, that's,
Right.
Are you a Myers parent right
I
now? Are you a Myers parent right now? So I would take that to principal
Oh,
library.
will do. Okay, exactly.
And Dr. Whiting, I would take those ideas to principal library. And, yeah, he could identify some teachers that may want to take that on, build it into a curriculum. That's, not something I would touch directly. Bigger picture, in terms of, really trying to enhance the experience during recess. I mean, I've seen it in action on several occasions. And that's something that we have to just figure out, how can we do that?
Thank you. I just want to comment, thank you, Mr. Holman, and you said let's end on a high note when you finish your presentation, but I feel like the whole presentation was a lot of high notes. So I wanted to say thank you, and also, just, pull out the recycling, the receptacle, the trash and recycling receptacles. I totally agree that I think having a very uniform presence in all of our buildings will go a long way. I can't, because sometimes you're in a building and you're like, yeah, this trash and recycling, and you don't know, but you gotta get rid of what's in your hands, and so hopefully this will prevent a lot of that. So forward to seeing that implemented. I think, like you said, the students will learn, it'll be consistent as they move through, and it will help your staff as they take care of all of the rescues we are creating. So thank you.
Have we explored what that would look like in terms of the external, exterior part of the building? So I know we have an interior, but we have so many exterior, that we could look at, being able to clearly delineate or differentiate. That would take it to another level.
I totally agree. You know. So we'll get that some thought and look into how we can make it happen.
Thank you.
Any more? Ms. Lomas?
Thank you, Mr. Holtman, for the presentation. A question, and maybe it's probably because I just can't see it, is the implementation strategy from our vision.
Mhm.
Does that apply to all buildings or is it just to CHS?
Just the high school.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
But we can take what the broader scope of it and implement it in our other schools.
Okay,
Like the example, the occupancy sensors for the LED lights. That's something we can put in our other schools. So just one example. So, but it has things that, you know, can borrow from it.
gotcha. Thank you. And then just the question, because I'm feeling maybe I missed this, did the contractor who is giving you the information about their roof, did we bid that out? Okay,
They're just a roofing supply company.
Okay.
So material company, so they,
They just provided an estimate.
Gotcha, okay, that's all. I was trying, I was like, did I miss something, something? Okay, all right, thank you. That's it for me, thanks.
Any additional questions? I do have just stick comments. As a part of the implementation plan from revision, I'm very encouraged by the fact that there's an identified educational reference as well. So I know it's not visible in the version that we're reading, but if you zoom in, you can see that one of the columns represents the link between that particular aspect of the plan and what, educational experience, whether it's ecology, et cetera, that could be tied to it. And I will underscore, I typically say things about 21st century learning experiences when I'm talking about Eastern Center for Arts and Technology and real world application of things that are just happening around us that don't necessarily look like a traditional classroom program / experience, that I think are exciting and different to learners and children, and that thinking about that and how we can continually focus on doing so, not just for the science realm when it comes to the revision experience, but again, to your point, how do you grow that? How do you create that in all of the work that we're doing here? We talk about student board member representation and just creating these, what I would define as very 21st century non-traditional learning experiences. But I like that that's listed, and I think that it's, it's a peek into, I think, what we can do for other. Happy that we have. Part of the plan. Right? We have any public comment or questions? Anybody hanging out in virtual? Yes, Mr. Bell.
I'm sending a no hand.
Indeed, no hands raised. All right. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move. Second.
It's adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.